Welcome punters to the mailbag. We're looking at the racing for the 23rd and 24th of March. I'm joined with Nick Heathcote. Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks, Drew. Great to be here.
And Travie.
Yeah,
How you doing?
Yeah, good.
First time we've met too,
Yeah,
Trav.
Scooter.
Yeah, it's great to see you, mate.
Good to have you boys. We're in the exclusive offices of Betfair to film. Much better. No keys dangling on the glass to hurt people's ears this time.
Yeah.
No stone wood, but it's the aircon's pretty good.
Aircon is very nice. Looking forward to the return of AFL just quietly, boys.
Yeah.
Bit of housekeeping just to get going. So Rob will be on course up in Sydney at Rose Hill. Peter will be at Ascot again over in Perth. And Dicko is having a well-deserved break up in Sydney. And I suspect he may make his way to Rose Hill on Saturday. What do you reckon? Do you reckon he'll get there?
Yeah, be on the tear.
You think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would not be going to a nightclub out that way afterwards because Dicko will be hitting it hard.
Yeah, it's a big card too. It's great racing.
Well, we've got the return of, the best horse in Australia, equal best in the world.
Wings?
She can't get that number one spot, can she? They just keep, and with the name being Winks, she's always second on the list.
Equal spot with Gunrunner, so yeah.
Good horse, and there's a nice horse called West Coast who has Gunrunner form going over to Dubai. They're betting $3.50. It's already to $2, and it will start at $1.50.
Okay, there's a tip.
Yeah.
Best futures bet around anywhere.
Okay.
You see it all on racing.com as well.
Hey,
Oh,
there we
yeah,
go.
nice plug.
Well done. A good plug. So, just so you guys know what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the last 4 races at Moonee Valley on Friday night because there's group racing there. We're then going to look at the full card at Mornington and then the slipper at Rose Hill and may even touch on Lynx's race because there's, I guess, a few people watching that.
It's probably a bit interesting.
Yeah, so let's get started. Race 5. You got 1,600 metres. It's a Group 3. Leading the betting is Palazzo Vecchio at $3.20. Shakora for the Hay Stable at $3.60. Harmadden with the Cummings, so the Godolphin Stable at $6 equal with Siani. I'm going to pass over to Trav here. I'll quickly just say I think Palazzo Vecchio and Shakora are the obvious standouts here. The prices are pretty short though, so if you were to twist my arm, I'd say Palazzo Vecchio because it settles in a more forward position, but it's a tough one to be betting into.
Yeah, I sort of agree. I think Palazzo Vecchio and Shakora are a bit short at the prices. I probably marked them a bit longer. I think the horse they've significantly missed is the Weir horse here, Think Blue. This comes out of a fast race at Sandown. Really happy to back horses coming out of it. I don't know quite how you pronounce his name. Lester. He's a very smart horse, I think, on the way up. And she was quite good in that race. She was held up, I thought, at a vital stage and didn't quite get to build her momentum as she might have maybe locked. Win before was really good. I don't think I've sort of been a big preacher of this. That 3-year-old fillies Metro Wednesday sort of grade to the Group 2 listed races at 3-year-old fillies grade. There's not much between them, and I think the market's factoring in that Group 2 form a little bit too heavily. Yeah. I'm pretty happy to play Think Blue each way. I think he gets a good run from the map too.
Very good run, especially good barrier. And you got Damien Lane on board, so
massive tick.
I did look at it, and I would have had it probably 3rd, 4th in my market. So at the $11 you're getting, good price.
Yeah, I think Palazzo Vecchio is probably the horse of the 3 out of the CUNY that I want to be with. I thought she was unlucky, even though she went back to the better section of the track. She didn't get much of a crack at them. Again, she gets barrier 1 here though, so still a slight concern to be taking that sort of price. And I thought the one at the top of the weights, I know a couple of good judges have given her a big push. Siani, she was on the wrong part of the track at Flemington, and she did a lot of work, but I've got real queries on her at the end of 1,600, which is my biggest negative here for her.
Yeah, Trav's been on fire lately. That's probably why we got back on the show. I'm surprised I gave you the week off last time you were on fire, the start before. But the Think Blue ride, if you have a look at the replay, it was an absolute slaughter. I think me and Dicko spoke about it on last week's show, or we spoke about it off air. So Damien Lane, a big switch there. So if you're looking for value, the $10 probably is a good bet. And Rail True at Moonee Valley usually means most horses get their chance in most races unless you sort of park directly behind the leader. So I think that's an important thing to remember as well.
Yeah, I would just mention I have a feeling that the rail in the True, they've made it a little bit better for front runners now. So it used to be rail in the True, everyone got their chance, very much so. they may have just been conditioning it a little bit better. I think it'll be playing extremely fair, but there may, especially early middle of the card, may just be a slight favour to on speed.
Well, Moonee Valley traditionally, you're not at a disadvantage being up on speed. It's a huge tick. So, and if you can find those horses that won't be far away, it's a big positive. Where in Palazzo Vecchio, Shakora, Siani are all horses who usually have ridden negatively or hard in the market here. So, found it interesting.
Very tough one. On to race 6, 1600 metres, Group 2, Sunline Stakes. Spanish Reef $2.70, Samovar $3.50, Abbey Marie $4.80, Life on the Wire $7, $20 plus the rest. It looks like, my quick thoughts on this one. I liked Samovar. I think it was very unlucky last start. I think there'll be more speed in this race than what Spanish Reef and Samovar got away with last start. But Samovar third up is ready to fire. I think it's the best horse in this race. I wouldn't be jumping off Flying Jess if there's money coming for it late. So it's $26 now. If it starts $14 without scratchings, I'm not losing on it, because this is a stable that backs it when they know it's right, and this is a horse that's right one runner prep.
Okay. Yeah, again, I reckon the market's a little bit skinny on, especially Spanish Reef. She's had 2 high rating runs. I just think she's got to rate down eventually, and I just reckon there's a suspect that she could at Moonee Valley. Maybe Zara potentially going a bit too slow in front. Doesn't seem to have a lot of pressure, which could bring in a horse like Samovar a bit closer to her in the run, and on a more even track. I don't expect there to be the margin there was between them last start. And even Abbey Marie comes through the better form lines, gets a positive switch to Willow.
Yep.
He'll sit 3 wide, won't he?
Yeah, she's sort of been freshened up from a pretty good run behind Galo, Chop and Hartnell, so they're not bad horses.
It is, but it is a bit of a concern, because you would have thought natural progression she went to the Australian Cup, so I'm sort of thinking, was there something missed at work or something? Yeah, it's sort of in the back of your mind. But
she's come back from a pretty significant injury. Was it she did a hip or some sort of fracture? She's out at Werribee for quite a long time, so it's amazing that they've got her back to that Group 1 level for starters, but for me, it's a really nice switch there, and I think the slow pace might help her a little bit. I don't mind sort of the freshen up. It could be an issue, but I don't know. They're pretty kind on the horse usually. The other one that I liked, just closing in behind King's Command when they streeted him, was Tiamo Grace. It was good to see her back in form. I don't know if she can win. She's a mile outside the market, but I guess if you're looking for a joker in the pack, that could be the other one. It could be the best roughie, but not sure. Yeah,
I just mentioned with the Scott Brunton horse, Life on the Wire. I reckon this race will be decided by how they'll ride that horse, because there's every chance they could push it on and try and push tempo. Yeah. So I'm at this stage not sure how I want to be playing it, because I'm not sure how it maps, especially from that stable, considering what's happened in the past with their horses.
Yeah, well, like Hallover Street, prime example last week, usually likes to roll along at good clip, and they sort of took a sit and didn't give him much chance. I reckon
they won't make that mistake again, right? That's what you have to almost think.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I would say as well that booking Jay Mott, he's a great jockey. I love backing him, but he does usually err on the side of restraining than pushing forward. So that's something to take note of.
Abbey Marie did roll, it's a long time ago, but the data run's pretty good. But $5, the betting will probably tell the story in this race.
Yeah,
it has to be backed in from that. I would have thought.
Personally, way I'm pricing the race at the moment, I'll probably be sitting out.
Yeah, fair call.
On to race 7, William Reid Stakes, Group 1, 1200 metres. Fairly disappointing field when you look at it from the best horses you would expect to be coming here on the way lead into a TJ Smith, but we've got, I don't want to say second raters, because I actually think one or two of these horses can go on and contest and be extremely competitive in a TJ Smith, but we do have the second raters. This is almost like an Oakley Plate field. That being said, I think it presents us with tremendous value. Quickly with the speed in the race, I've got Thronum as the only leading chance. Can I ask you guys if that's what you agree?
Probably fair.
Yeah, probably fair. I think he's the natural leader, which sort of scares me with horses back in the field. Could sit up.
Yeah, I'm really scared because last time in Group 2 didn't go overly fast when Lennon won. I've got it mapped average to 5 lengths above benchmark at maximum, and I'm almost suggesting that I want to be on speed based on that. It's going to be extremely hard for horses like Hellbent and Stupido to come from the back.
100% agree.
So quickly prices: Secret Agenda $4.20, Sure Rain $7, Hellbent $6.50 has been well backed. Rock Magic out to $7, Thronum and Stupido $9 and $10 plus the rest. My very simplistic view on this race is Secret Agenda was massive last start.
Yeah.
It can sit on speed. It won't have to work for the position. It'll just be gifted it, and it'll be bloody hard to get past. The only horse I can see doing that, based on sectionals, based on everything it's done, is Rock Magic. It sits 1-1 potentially. It's just, I think the horse to beat is Secret Agenda. Pariah maps horribly, and I couldn't have it at the price.
Yeah, I'm really... When I looked at the market, I thought, gee, this is a race I'm keen to bet into, because I just think they've got a couple wrong. Main horse here, I think they've got wrong. Bonds Away. He loomed to win the Oakley Plate. I think he just ran out of condition the last 100. That's why he finished 5th and maybe not 2nd. I thought the run was really good. Linda Meach is really underrated rider in terms of, not by punters, but by terms of getting quality rides.
Yeah, we'll agree on that, definitely.
And she gets a prime opportunity here to ride a Group 1 winner. I'm surprised he's $12, to be honest. I thought he is a genuine chance in this race. It's an open Group 1 and he gets his chance. I think he'll be right there close to the speed with just the way Linda rides. He won't be far away. He can put on a good finish. I think he's a really good play each way. I'm happy enough to take on Secret Agenda at the price. Just she went quite well first up. Long time in between runs. She's got either targets like the Sangster and the TJ down the line, I think. Potential she could rate down second up. And then I just thought the other horse that's nearly hard in the market, She Will Reign. Barrier 1, huge knock for mine. I think she'll get back in traffic, and I don't think she's going much good. So, and the other 3-year-old Pariah, like you said, maps poorly.
Bad try. I thought, well, not a bad try, but I thought it was just average.
Yeah,
I expected more.
Agree. And then horses like Cepedo and Hellbent are going to be a long way back off the speed in what I'm thinking could be a pretty slowly run 1,200 metre Group 1.
Yeah.
I'd be recommending Bonds Away and Rock Magic, but if Secret Agenda got out to more 550, I'd be more entertained with her, but she's a bit short for me.
Well, it did drift $4.20 to $9.60.
Yeah, first up.
When it won first up, so you never know.
Yeah, I'm sort of seeing here the same in-book as Trav here. I noticed that Bonds Away had a gallop at Moonee Valley, and I think they're only about 23.29 with the cones out a long way. I think that's pretty good work.
Yeah, it was good work.
You're probably there. And I sort of thought it'd be about 6-1 and I was sort of surprised when the market came up. It came a really long way last prep, and then so the last few runs of its campaign, you could probably understand that it had enough, so it might have just sort of gutted itself there. But good first up. I think it has to shorten, and I think Linda's really smart. She can kick up from 2, especially if there's no pace. She's no deal. And then the other horse I sort of like was Rock Magic. He sort of just runs to that same sort of rating often. He's probably going to be sort of midfield or just forward of midfield. And I remember I don't know if it was this race last year or there was a Group 1 at Moonee Valley when he was about $21 and he was really unlucky that day. Yeah,
really unlucky. Could have been this race last
year.
Could
have been, yeah. So I won't forget that. It was the Moya Stakes. So there you go. So they were the two that stood out to me: the Progressive horse Bonds Away and Rock Magic, sort of that consistent level. Yeah,
with Bonds Away as well. Like he's come a long way. I remember he might be the first horse ever if he wins a Group 1 Friday night to win at Mildura. So he's done a good job.
Is he a Bonhoeffer being named?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So would that be the first Group 1 for a Bonhoeffer?
You'd have to go. You'd have to
probably say yes.
Yeah.
On to race 8 of the card, 1,200 metres, wide open 3-year-old plate race. I'm personally, so you've got $2.90 Deprive, you got $7 Easy Beasts, you got Cow out to $10, or Chow Chow, however you want to say it. Gerard's been backed into $10. You got True Excelsior and Sirius suspect at $9 and $8. I think Deprive is a genuine superstar on the up.
Good call. It's beating Gresham.
I like everything about this horse apart from the way it maps.
Yeah.
Could I take $2.90? I reckon I'll probably get closer to $4 on the day. I don't think it'll be something that they back.
Yeah, they probably take it on.
So if I'm getting $3.80, that's the price I've marked that I want to take, I will be backing it.
Especially if you guys are sort of saying leaders, here we are, and let's say it's really leaderish for the first 7 races. But
especially with maybe those later races, I'm looking at races 5, 6, 7, no tempo, so maybe the lean might be that it's hard leaders, but so you might get a better price come the last.
And there's massive tempo in this one.
Yeah, a lot of tempo here.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Oh, insane. I could sort of see your point with Deprive. He has rated very well in Sydney. I thought the trial, I sort of wanted to see him do a little bit more in his recent trial. Wasn't overly impressed with it, but to take $2.90 is the point I'm sort of making. I think barrier 12 as well, he's going to have to get a long way back. Yeah, I'm happy enough to risk him, even though I think he's a talented horse on the way up. Tough race outside of him. I thought there's a horse down here near the bottom, the 12 Garrard. This horse has got some really good early form behind the likes of Catchy, Hootson, Scholes.
Ran second Magic Millions, if I'm right.
Yeah, or ran second to Hootson on the way to the Magic Millions. So it's a pretty handy horse if it can get back to its best. Didn't really come up in the spring, and then big man on my Cranbourne trials, and I thought it trialled as good as anything at Cranbourne recently. I thought it was a big trial. Love the engagement of Dwayne Dunn. I think hopefully she can be not too far away, maybe midfield, the fence. Just Dwayne's good at weaving in between runners. That's where I sort of like him most. And I was happy enough to play at the price we're getting with it. Other horse I was sort of interested in was Serious Suspect. I thought this win was really good last start at Caulfield. He should have probably was entitled to get run down by Star Search, who had the easier run on him. He was 3 wide the trip. Serious Suspect on a pretty decent tempo. He was well backed, 4th up Weir, huge tick, and he maps for a good run right on speed. So those are the 2 I'd be happy to take on the favourite with for me.
Yeah, I sort of like Deprive as a horse. I think they'll just ride it stone cold, and I can see it drifting maybe 3:30, but I just back it and close my eyes and pray.
Yeah,
I think it's a smart horse.
Yeah, doing your Sydney form as well, Nick. That the horse that you sort of took your eye from its first 2 runs.
Yeah, well, it's hard not to. I think it was debut win was outstanding.
Yeah,
I think probably the win last time was probably a bit more workmanlike. It might have been as fit. Might have had a little bit of setback or missed some work recently, but it looks like a horse that's got plenty of X factor, and just like the fact that it's a funny one like barrier 11. Like some of those back markers you'd rather a weaving sort of run through, but. I don't know. This horse has got a fair bit of class, so
this one I'm happy for it to go around on.
Yeah, I want to be on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're taking it on. Maybe it's a good case.
Yeah, we'll see. Better chances.
Got a bit of dicko about you today.
No, someone needs to keep him honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Straight on to Mornington. Race 1, 1,000 metres, Peninsula Essence Handicap BM 78. The market is doing Maddie is very short at $2.50, Gibbon $5.50 with Dance and Fontaine the same price, Rockets Red Glare $5.75, and you got $10 the rest being Sir Donald and Explicity, who's $15. This is a strange race. You got Typhoon Jolly, who is $9. Sorry, I missed it in the markets. Typhoon Jolly is going to lead them out. I've got it rated anywhere from benchmark to about 3 lengths above. The other horse that'll go forward is the Lang horse Explicity, or how do I say it? I'm saying it completely wrong. There's just one standout here for me is Gibbon. I think the price, the short turnaround of a disappointing 8th at Moonee Valley, look, it wasn't exactly suited by the speed throughout, and I just have to give it another chance. I think its best is clearly good enough to beat these. The main dangers being Maddie, of course. I think it's very short though. And Dance with Fontaine, what it did at Moonee Valley 2 runs back, I have to respect. It didn't actually rate particularly well on data that run, but when you've got horses going 10:30 early, and you can still come over the top, even though you're suited first up I don't think he's suited. I have to respect that run, and it's back to a home track, so I think the stable's going well enough, and yeah, third pick there.
Yeah, I found it an interesting race in terms of doing it because I just don't think a couple of the horses in the top of the market are much good. Gibbon, Dance with Fontaine, usual suspects in these 1,955 races. If there's something better than them, they'll beat them, and I think Maddie is case in point of that. This is a horse who I thought's run first up off a long break at Moonee Valley was really good. He was coming through the line well. The winner, Sprightly Lass, was smashed last week at Rose Hill.
Yep.
Still won if you don't count the protest, and in a stakes grade race, none of these horses would be in the market in that race at Rose Hill except for maybe Maddie. And I'm just, unless he rates down second up, I can't see him not winning. To be honest, I just think his ratings early doors are better than this field as well. That's the query, is second up, long break. It's the only query for mine. Steph's a good engagement. He'll be right up there on speed, probably just in behind the lead from Typhoon Jolien explicitly, and I got him marked a lot shorter than what the market does. I think he's a pretty good bet at the price.
I just have some inside info from our mounting out guy up in Sydney as well. Sprightly Lass was just absolutely horrible in terms of mounting yard report.
Yeah.
So it's ran out of its skin again, considering what it did in the mounting yard, which I think it definitely does give great credence to the Maddie form line.
Yeah, I can't dispute that. Maddie looks clear on top. I think Gibbon's the danger. Stephanie Thornton's sort of riding okay. 2 kilo claim, 54.5 kilos. It looks like a nice setup for it. They might take it on a bit, but I don't really mind. It was just so good off that 343 day spell, and I just can only see upside for this horse, and I'll be on.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think it's a good start of the day.
Cool. I'll be probably saving. Mornington race 2, 2,000 metres.
Just hurdles this race.
Yeah, they're all getting ready for the bull, I think.
There are a few getting there, but there's one that's not. We'll get to it. Brigham Rocks $4.20, Ashley Marie $3.50, Showroom $5.50, Angelology $6.50, Velox $8.50, Charlevoix $6.50, and Ancient King $12.
I actually don't mind betting in distance races, but this is a terrible race.
Well, where's the speed, right? So you got Ashley Marie, who I want to call Abby Marie, which I probably will during the time we say this. But Ashley Marie's going to crawl along out front potentially because it's crawled the last 2 starts. So you have to think, where's the speed coming into it? That's what makes it potentially hard to rate. Angelology won off a really slow crawl last start, beating Velox, but I don't want to have either of those two here. There's a really handy import. You know I love my imports. I'm a sucker for an import. Brigham Rocks, gelded, lugging bit on, handles all surface conditions. 107 time form rating, which would have it not in a Caulfield Cup or anything by any means. Actually, sorry, if you're talking about if it was going to the Weir stable, it would be in a Caulfield Cup because they did have 103 time form rating horse go there. But 107 is saying you're probably listed grade.
Yeah.
So it's going to measure up. It's
Well,
probably
then.
been better over Thurver, which is the only query, but is a horse that, going back on the replays, it's got a key turn of foot. So it's got a real 200 metre burst where it just kicks clear and then just keeps on going. And at $4.20, I've got it as a clear on top of here. I'd like more speed in the race, not going to lie about that, but I think it's the horse to beat from Shoreham and Ashley Marie, with Charlevoix the other danger outside of that if I had to have another danger.
Yeah, for the sake of coming on the show, and I think Ancient King's the one. If I was playing in the race, which I probably won't, just got a long way back on a track that is heavily leader biased at Edenhope, pen the run. Third at Colac, beat home Angelology, who's half its price in the market, and goes from... E. Brown's a good rider, but Yendel getting on, I think, huge positive. I rate Yendel as one of the best in Victoria.
You can't say that about Trop King Jr. You can't take him on as a positive switch off.
He's not exactly my man like he is Dicko's, but I really like Yendel here on in a race with no speed. That's where he does his best work, and especially over 2,000. Fourth up Weir, shouldn't be $11, but I can't really play in the race.
Yeah, I don't know. Charlotte, I nearly nodded off because it's such a bad race. Not because of what you guys were saying, but
It's a fair call.
Charlevaux will improve out of sight. It wasn't there to win first up behind Kings Will Dream. I've got notes here. Import Druzy, he probably knows, written as my notes. So Bring 'em Rocks. That I'm pretty alert to that. And 420 is pretty hard in the market. It doesn't have to be a great horse to knock over these. So if 5 stays hard in the market, Bring 'em Rocks is the one I want to be on. And of the rest of the field, I thought the value and improver was Charlevaux back with 53 kilos after claim, and I probably won't bet.
Yeah. I would just say if Bring 'em Rocks is backed, that would give me more confidence.
Yeah.
Like if I'm taking 420 now,
Yeah.
which I probably will, I would be even more confident in having more on if it's on race day, coming up to the race, and they're backed it into 340.
Yeah.
That gives me more confidence, especially from this stable.
Yeah.
Because
Stackhouse
I hate seeing them drifting for that
Stackhouse
stable.
not bad, right? Completely bad.
No.
You don't need to be a good rider in a distance race over this anyway. I don't.
Mornington Saturday is a really good example of that. Of guys that are sort of breaking out in town or consistent town riders will really show up because the depth is gone with a lot of riders in Sydney.
That's definitely true. Mornington Race 3, 1,500 metres. Geez, have you nodded off on that one? Wait till you get this one. No natural speed horse again in this race. Could see Gita forced to push the speed with Vibe Vitality or the first starter potentially going forward. We could have a race 10 lengths below benchmark, is what I'm saying on this one. So,
very
like, there's the randomness of this speed is just immense. The Gita 260, Muswellbrook $5, Louis the Legend 360, and keep going, 850 the rest. Short and sweet here. Gita's clearly the best horse, but we're unexposed to what the best of these horses are. So if you were wanting me to tip this race, I'd say Gita from Muswellbrook, from Louis the Legend, from a Fighting Fury. But I'm not betting here. There's look away.
I'm brave. I like betting. There was a horse that that caught my eye on debut. Was a Fighting Fury. He was asleep. I think it was Ballarat.
Well, winkers go on, so...
So hopefully the winkers sharpen up, and Nicholas Hall is back from the Abyss.
Oh, he's back.
So he's on this one. So I think there's a nice little switch there.
Parish to N Hall.
Yeah, Parish to N Hall's a good switch. I think it might be close to his first ride back, which is good. Winkers go on, and if you look at the replay at Ballarat, he just didn't want to go early. So then the slow pace and up to 1,500, he looks like a 2-year-old that needs every bit of 1,500. The last start SP's Muswellbrook was shorter, maybe half the price, but then you're still sort of getting $8 Fighting Fury, and I sort of thought that a Fighting Fury had more improvement just looking at him, and I thought Muswellbrook Peaceful Solution's the one that I thought needs probably 2,000 metres, but I thought a Fighting Fury was a better run than Muswellbrook. He sort of really wound up late, and at $8 I could sort of spec it there.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a shocking race though, but the $8 appeals to me.
100% agree. Could not agree more. A Fighting Fury and Muswellbrook come out of a fast Ballarat maiden, whereas the horses through the Pakenham race, which is pretty much every other horse in the race, Gita, Peaceful Solution, and Louis the Legend come out of a slow race. I'd be happy enough to take on Gita at the price. It's way too short. And back a Fighting Fury against Muswellbrook simply because N Hall v J Dovey.
I would probably mention that it may be the best thing to do is get on Betfair.
Yep.
There you go. And if the speed's on, then a Fighting Fury may be the one because it's wanting the 1,500, it's wanting the speed on, and you'll probably still get 5-6s in play. Yeah,
really strange things happen with 2-year-olds beyond 1,400 metres, like 1,500 metres, 1,600 metres. You can get some really funny results. Yeah. But this horse looks like a horse that wants that, and I just think that that other one was a Peaceful Solution. I think it needs even further, despite that sort of looking half like it wants more. But this other horse might be a bit better than it.
Yeah. Cool. Mornington Race 4, 1,200 metres, clean away handicap. Free-hearted $2.60 so far, so cool $4.40. Chak $8. I'm not saying that one again. She's positive 10s with Niem Chin Or at 10s as well.
There's a Noonan horse here.
No relation.
Oh.
So, no.
I was going to
That's
ask
upsetting.
you. I was going to ask you
Very
for the tip
upsetting.
up on it. Geez, 5 lengths below benchmark to 2 lengths above benchmark is what I'm saying the early speed's going to be. So I don't have them going overly fast, and I think they could put an anchor drop on as well. So it's one of those really tricky races where I think it's hard to predict the tempo. I think Jalen's a prime example of a horse that they could actually bring it back after the bleed and want to push it ahead and just give it a real hit out. I don't think they will, but it's one of those races I'm really struggling to map it. My 2 on toppers, I liked Niem Chin Or. I thought its second start at Moonee Valley was just really strong, gets in well at the weights, and I like the way it maps. So far so cool's a horse that's always been in my stable. I think it wants the rain on the day to come, so there's about 3 to 10 millimetres that's been forecast for Saturday.
Where is this at Mornington?
At Mornington, yeah. It won't do much to the track.
Yeah, it'll
It's
barely
more,
settle the dust.
yeah.
Dries
But
quick down.
this is a horse from New Zealand that just kind of needs just a little bit out. It won by 4.5 lengths as a 2-year-old over 1200, so it can win at distance. I think it's elite 1400 plus. So that's my only query on it. I thought Free Hearted's under the odds. I actually liked the Noonan horse. She's positive at $10. I thought it can, if it brings its best form, which was 2.5 lengths behind I'm a Star in a Group 3, can measure up.
Yeah.
But really wide race.
Yeah, I'll just be quick. I got no interest in this race, so Niem Chinor's maybe the only horse I could come in of because I'll rate the horse that beat it working from home. Quick Moonee Valley race, quick turnaround, maps well, home track. Home track horses at Mornington, who is one of the best advantages in Victoria, so you got to give them a big tick if you like them. But it did SP 100 to 1s and Jay Eaton, so...
Well, Jaden, I'd say if you look at her stats from ROI perspective from the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, they'll be extremely positive. Mainly because she got the 100 to 1 shot home down the outside, which she then won on at 7 to 1 2 weeks later. But I think she's actually running quite well. I'm not exactly putting my trust exactly to say in a Saturday meeting that I think she's,
I suppose you get the 3 kilo claim, and it claims 51.
Yeah.
I'm not really a weights man, but...
especially on a speed horse, you're happy with that in a 1200 metre race.
Yeah, it's got some hope and probably maybe should be shorter than $10, but it's not a race I've done, so I don't want to be tipping.
Yeah, I think I wrote in big capital letters, this race hurts my brain. I thought Free Hearted was good at the Valley. The Sydney run of Shack was good off a wide run, but obviously they're desperate to try and find the right race, and here it is down at Mornington. It's drawn 1, so I guess they'll kick up and try and be positive there. So interested to see how Michael D rides that one, but yeah, they're just sort of looking for a race, so that worries me a little bit with that. She's positive if the first up run was sort of a trial, a barrier trial for this, it's a chance, but I'm just wary sometimes that 1,000 metre form, but I don't think I'll bet.
Fair enough.
It hurts.
Agree with that. Race 5, Mornington, 1200 metres, United Petroleum handicap. Good on the all business getting behind us. We have Ramos $3.60, Tigger $7, Bob of the Head $5.50, Rich Luck $6.50, Petite's Reward $9, and for the rest $11 plus. The speed is going to be extremely genuine here. I'm expecting 3 to 4 lengths above benchmark, so they're going to give every horse a chance. That will be Petite's Reward that I'm mapping to kick up in the lead based on going well above benchmark last start at Moonee Valley. So I think they understand this horse. They don't want to go further than that, in the run, and they will hand up if something forces them on. I really like Petite's Reward in this race. I think it's just being handed the right race to run it along and be very hard to get past. I think Bramos is absolute poison odds. I backed it last start at Pakenham at $8, $9. This is a much harder race. It got gifted the race pretty much by a sit and sprint. It wasn't the best run out of that race. I'm shocked at the odds. The other one, Bob of the Head, I can see it, but at $5.50 it's well unders for me. My Paisan, this is a horse that cost me a small fortune and a multi when it stormed home at Caulfield when I thought I was home at the 200 and cheering my my 5-figure collect. Still hurts. I can't ignore it from the back. It'll just keep running home, and it's big odds at double figures, and Rich Luck's the other chance. But this is probably one of my more confident bets of the day. Is Petite's Reward. I'm getting $9 each way, and very keen. I think Steph Thornton is a great judge of on-speed pace.
Yep, could agree with that. And Petite's Reward's usually a pretty decent value horse. Mornington's a very similar circumference and sort of layout in terms of horses that run like Moonee Valley usually convert that form to Mornington. Tough race. I thought Rich Luck did trial quite well. He's a really consistent horse. 650 seems reasonable. Bramos, I sort of agree with you, Drew. He's pretty short, but he's a horse that they've had a big rap on for a long time. Like, he had his first start at Sandown. Willow rode him. They truckloaded it, won. I just think he could again elevate off that Pakenham performance, and I'm a bit scared of his SPs. Like, he has SP hard in the market nearly every start he's had. The other horse, Mornington trained horse here, Lord Mornington, down the bottom, huge tick, Yendel on speed runner. Comes through an interesting Pakenham 64 behind Mastering. It's probably about its right price at around $18, but it could be something each way. Bob of the Head's the other one, huge tick, Mornington trained horse as well. Not a race I'll be playing into that much though.
It's I didn't love the Rich Luck trial as much as you, Trav, unfortunately. But
okay,
the horse that sort of interested me, I think it meets Rich Luck 4.5 kilos better since it met it last preparation. That was so that's Tigger and Rich Luck. When you sort of marry those two horses up, and then you look at Bramos, I thought Tigger was the better run of the two last time. So yeah, if I had to have a bet, it'd probably be Tigger. And the other horse that seems to be going okay, and obviously it's a back marker, and it obviously sometimes runs into trouble, is that Fully Maxed. Like it's now got 51 kilos. It sort of got knocked over the last start. It had Holbein form a couple of starts back. And if you go real deep, you can see like a run behind Jukebox, only beaten like 2.8 in the Vane Stakes. So there's obviously been something about the horse. Mornington trained horse. If you're looking for a knockout hope, it could be it. But I just thought that Rich Luck and Bramos were really well found in this, and I didn't really want to back those hard in the market.
Fair enough.
That's it.
Cool. On to race 6, 1,200 metres, listed grade, Hariba Stakes. Genuine tempo, 2 to 5 lengths above benchmark early, so this is a race where I think you'll get the best horses winning. Top Me Up's quite an interesting returner, so I had a look into it. They actually didn't have any injury issues, so they're saying that it hit its head in the last start in the barriers and had some abrasions and stuff, but that wasn't why they spelled it for so long, so they're saying the horse is ready to go, which is interesting. Overall, this is a really wide race. I'm actually, this is the only race on the card that I'm saying there's no very high chance of winning this race. So I normally have a clear standout, either 1 or 2 in a race where I say very high chance. Couldn't do it with this race. I have Top Me Up with First Among Equals and Husson Eagle on my first line of betting, so to speak. And then I've got I'm Wesley, Lucky Liberty, Stellar Collision and Duke of Brunswick very close behind them. Wide open race. I'm just not sure what to do here, and I won't be playing. And if you twisted my arm, I still couldn't give you a tip.
Yeah, I thought interesting race. Huge knock on Stellar Collision's barrier 1.
Yeah.
I don't like that draw for him. I thought he had his chance the other day at Adelaide. I don't think this is probably a harder race.
Is that the smallest horse you've ever seen? Like, did you see the photo? It's like that far off at the front, but it's ahead of the other horse by that much, and the jockey's like ahead of the other jockey by that much, and he still doesn't get the nod.
Oh no, it was brutal if you were on last start for sure.
Dicko's going to have bad memories when he's watching this.
Yeah. In Leodoro beat him at Sale. A couple of these horses have knocked him off. I think he's pretty short of the price. The horse I'm most interested in is I'm Wesley. If you're giving Secret Agenda a big push in the William Breed, you have to give this a chance in this. Linda Medch, good booking. This horse will probably find close to the lead. I think he won't be too far off Prussian Vixen. Chisholm and Top Me Up are the other two horses that sort of roll forward, as you said. both first up though and do stretch out longer, so I'm expecting him to be in front of those in the run. He'll probably be outside lead and be pretty hard to beat. I think he's about his right price, but I think he's definitely the horse I could entertain backing. The other horse I'm interested in is the Toppy, first among equals. The second prep, Darren Weir. He picked it up last preparation when it was sort of mid-prep. Did a bit of work down at the beach. They couldn't quite get it right. First run at Caulfield was good in a strong race, the Scalacci. Didn't have a lot of luck, and then he failed at Flemington. They've turned him out. Brad on. I'm interested in this horse. I think he represents a bit of value at the price. Lucky Liberty, my sort of knock on him is he might be a bit too far back if they decide to ride him a bit more cold. It's a tough track to make ground on, Mornington. You want to get moving. It's sort of in that dog leg coming down the side, about 400 out. You really want to be in a good position because it's tough to run on. I sort of, just on that basis, I thought he was a bit short at the price.
It's a bit of a crapshoot with the swoopers in this, because I think Hassan Eagle's as good as Lucky Liberty at swooping, and then even Duke of Brunswick has run a 21.68 final 400 on its record. Over this distance, so it can swoop as well.
He's a good horse.
What do you call that? A crapshoot?
Crapshoot, yeah.
Okay.
Just
right.
Chucking the dice.
Oh, sorry, craps.
Yeah, craps.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the market tells a story here. You've got the entire field somewhere between $5 and $13. You rarely see a market that's that compact, and that tells me that you probably shouldn't be betting in that. There's pure gambling in this one. Probably best rider.
Isn't that what most people are here for?
Oh well, you like to think you got an edge sometimes, but I thought the horse that's flying is Lucky Liberty. You don't take a horse like that to the Newmarket if it's not going any good. Yeah. The first two runs in its prep were huge. No disgrace against the A graders, and it's only 55.5 kilos. And traditionally, the winner of this race is sort of 56 kilos or less, or in recent times. Ryan Maloney goes on, which is the sort of like close your eyes and pray type job.
Really?
Oh, he's not. I don't know.
I don't mind Maloney. So
yeah, I've had him on one of my horses before, and I actually think he's city class in terms of if you give him the right horse.
Yeah.
He makes good decisions. He's a good weaver, like a Dwayne Dunn, I would say.
Everyone has their own opinion.
Yeah.
He's in form. I think he rode a winner on Wednesday, so hopefully he's confident. And the other horse that looks set up in this one is Hassan Eagle. So if they're swooping, Lucky Liberty or Hassan Eagle. But yeah, if you're betting with this one, you're very brave.
Okay. I find that interesting because I just reckon I 100% concur with your point. But there's a couple of horses here that surely the market just got wrong. Like Schism, Top Me Up. Hassan Eagle's a dead set 1,000 metre horse, can't get past it. Even horses like Duke of Brunswick, not going to be wound up enough, I don't reckon, first up. For mine, they're too hard in the market. So that means... And it's 120%.
There's got to be some value there.
There's got to be some value, so... Yeah.
You're going to know how the track's playing by race 6. So.
Oh, 100%.
Schism will be 40 to 1 at jump.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's
on
to the list.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
So.
Let's move on. Mornington Cup, 2,400 metres, listed race. Qualification for the Caulfield Cup is always the goal for these horses, so you chuck them in there and good luck.
This was a good race until a couple of scratches. I don't know if you guys know about it, but Foundry out, Lord Fandango going to Sydney. Mm-hmm. So you end up with two horses that were big chances, hard in the market, taken out of the race.
Lord Fandango was my top chance.
Yes,
that was a ridiculous price, $6.
I thought that as well, out of the Australian Cup.
Its Caulfield Cup run was the best run of the race.
Yeah, it was a big run.
It hasn't been cited since, though.
He's running the Australian Cup.
That said, he got bumped the whole way up the straight. If you look at the Australia Cup run.
He's been going horrible until the Australia Cup. When I saw the Australia Cup run, I said, the horse is now going okay.
Yeah.
So I'll take that out of my betting.
Drew's in free fall now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
so odds at the moment, which is still with Lord Fandango at $6.50 in the market. Yeah. You got Kingswell Dream $2.75, so that'll almost come down near twos. Then they'll back it in. Bondiga $7.50. Gaelic Chieftain $9. Sis Montaigne $11. Golden Mane $14, and a horse I want to mention, Harrison $18. Gender and tempo, 3 to 10 lengths above benchmark. Harrison should be pushing them along. It's a rolling type horse. Ignore the first up run, in my opinion. This is a stable that buys quality, and they always run well, and they would not have scratched Foundry, in my opinion, from this race unless they thought Harrison could win. $18 is a ridiculous price. With that, I would say Sis Montaigne is actually my now top pick from Harrison in the race. Ran too slow first up, was still a bit fat. Had some trials over the hurdles, be ready to go. It's a Group 3 winner of a 2,500 minute Lexus. It's a quality horse. Kingswood Dream, I have huge queries over 1,800 up to 2,400. It's never done it. You would still trust this stable. I'd probably be chopping out on it. From that, I'd say Gaelic Chieftain, Bondiga and Golden Manor on my next line, but I don't really like those too much. I'd probably be playing Sis Montaigne and Harrison, and then saving Kingswood Dream if I was right now changing my betting.
Yeah, it was a race like when Lord Fandango was in the race. I was sort of like Kingswood Dream. I'm big on platforms, and he comes from 1,800 to 2,400. It's like nearly against everything I do.
Yeah. And
then the majority of the chances have come out. I thought Lord Fandango and Foundry, both two genuine sort of Group 1 stayers. And I think he's, even though he'll probably be too short of the price, because with Lord Fandango coming out, he'll get to sort of that 220 range, nearly odds on. Yeah. I've sort of marked him just under $3. I think Yendelon's a massive positive, not from Zara, but just from the terms of this race. The way it's going to be run, he'll put him right up there on the speed. I think he'll bang him out and have him in the first 3, which is a big tick. And he's a big tick against some of these riders, I think. Gaelic Chieftain for mine, he was a lot closer to the speed at Stony Creek, which I found interesting. Going into that race, I was happy to really take him on because he usually has no speed and he's out the back. That race, they settled him 3rd and run, and he was able to get over the top. So I'm interested to see what they do tactics-wise.
Especially from 12.
Yeah, if they... it comes into sort of barrier 10, so... I'll be really interested to see if they sort of bang him out and put him up there again, because it sparked him up and he got a victory. He's a serious horse on his day. Sis Montaigne will be rolling up there on speed. I think racing 3, I couldn't get near pretty much anything else, except for maybe Bondiga, just because he's found form. Scary when a weird horse like that he's transformed.
3 in a row.
Yeah, transformed a horse who's a complete cat into a winner. In saying that, I know from dealings with the stable, he was very, very sore when they got him, so that can be sometimes a thing when you pencil a horse in as a cat. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So, but yeah, for me, it's if Kingswood Dream drifts, he's a bet. If he stays the same price, I'll probably sit out and maybe back Gaelic Chieftain and Sis Montaigne if they get to the prices I've sort of marked them. Tough Mornington Cup, I think.
Yeah, I thought Sis Montaigne was probably the one now that Lord Fandango's out. Probably wasn't fully wound up. I'd love to see Dicko's notes to what he said in the yard about that horse, so I might ask him and get him to tweet it.
Sis Montaigne?
Yeah, what did he say?
It was a little fat still, so it was a horse that he was, I know, pretty keen to back going into the day, and he did not back it, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, so yeah, it's sort of a bit of a pearl. First up from the Melbourne Cup, horses come out and run really well. I think Hartnell maybe did that, and it just happens over and over again.
It does.
And Gay is just so tricky. She's clearly got this race in mind. She's probably run it fat at Caulfield that day. Then she's put it over the sticks to get it really rejuvenated. He put in 3 really good runs. Again, the St Ledger against Big Duke, the Barman at Moonee Valley, and then he came out and won the Lexus Stakes. So, yeah, it's a horse that's still got improvement in it. And it'll be there to win on Saturday. That's the one that I could probably come into. But apart from that, yeah, there's not much else that I want to be on.
I think Kingswood Dream could be an interesting horse. I don't know what price he is on Caulfield Cup, because this is a race where you.
The short answer is we're too short at the moment in all this.
Yeah, probably, most likely. But this is a race where you get a golden ticket into the Caulfield Cup if you win, and
he'll have a low weight.
Yeah, he's a horse that's completely on the up. If he won and spanked these horses, I'd be considering him a serious player.
But you know what you do there,
yeah,
right?
because it's a bad setup. You could get not.
Yeah.
Because bad platform.
Yeah, bad platform.
Platform set up, same thing.
You can easily just wait with the bookies open over the line.
Yeah, it sort of depends what price I'm saying if he was 100 to 1 plus, like if he was shorter than that, you wouldn't do it because the risk outweighs the reward. But yeah, just something to take note. I got no idea what price.
I always like punish him on the futures markets. I mean, it's brilliant. Mornington race 8, 1600 metres. Frankston and Mornington Auto Group Guineas. Oh, bringing out the big sponsors now.
Franga.
We have anywhere from 1 length to 6 lengths above benchmark. I'm expecting it to be run early, so once again, decent tempo potentially. Top pick from the race is Silverhawk, who I've got mapping on speed every chance. I think Barbecue's the best horse in the race, but it maps poorly unless they're really running on the day. Eshtaraka I can have time for. Perugia I've got time for. She's a Dashing was smashed in betting last start and it's got a short backup, so you have to respect it.
Not much luck in the straight.
Yeah, that's kind of me. It's one of those races where I'm maybe going to back Silverhawk on the day, but I'm not sure at the moment.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be backing this horse. I think it's way overs at the price. Marked in favourite. I think he comes through a quick, as I said with Think Blue earlier on, that quick sound down race. Transformed himself into a genuine horse. I thought when he got beaten at Terrain first up at real skinny price, I thought, you're a cat. And then he's put himself on speed and he's sort of elevated. He's turned the corner for mine back to somewhere near his best early doors, and this just sets up perfectly for him. He'll be on speed. Jay Noonan, home track, huge tick. I love backing Jake as well, and I just thought this horse probably maps to lead on a track that's great to lead on. Mick Price, great trainer. I honestly can't see too many negatives with him here. I think he's a really good bet. Eshtarak's the other horse I'd be half interested in. The map's killer because he's probably going to get back a fair way, but he's got a big motor and he's got the class. Nick Hall I don't know how to treat Nick Hall going into the meeting because he's a great rider, but you'd expect from such a long break he's probably going to need a couple rides back to get into his form, you'd reckon.
Well, it's kind of like you look at Hugh Bowman once he finally jumps
hopefully
off
not for the Tiger horse in race 2. Hopefully straight on the money.
Yeah, straight on the money.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then outside of that, nothing else really jumped off the page. I thought Perugia's got away with 2 races at the Valley, I reckon. Saba Heat 1 in slow time. She's Dashing. I don't like the map and I don't like the engagement, so I'm against her.
Yeah, I just on Silverhawk, I thought he had the perfect setup when he won at Caulfield with rail 14. Like it was, and then I sort of liked the way he boxed on there the other day. Like he looked like he was gone, and then he sort of just dug in again and kicked again. So like, he's not a pushover, this horse. So there's something there with him. God, this looks a really difficult race. That all hardwood, 1800 and to 1600, I could see, Lanning just trying to go out and lead the whole way or annoy Silverhawk. Barbecue, I can sort of see what you guys are saying there. She's a Dashing. That was the horse that we tipped. Me and Mosh were pretty keen the place. I think she would have run second. I'm not sure that she would have beaten the winner last time at Flemington last week. And the other horse that might improve at big odds was Spring Choice. He had to make a pretty long searching run at Geelong last time. Blinkers go off, which is interesting. And it's sort of on the back up as well. So, yeah, look, it's a tough race, to be honest. Numbers are sort of like 11's going to lead, and then dangers are sort of 5 Barbecue, She's a Dashing, and maybe the knockout Spring Choice. But it's another race that I've written hurts my brain.
I could see your case with Spring Choice because he beat Sunquest in a maiden who's got form around Eshtarak. Got to beat, I think, a victory over Eshtarak. So. Or second, sorry.
Cool. Race 9, 1600 metres, Motorbike Challenge Final, BM78. Dylan Sutton should lead him around probably between 2 and 10 lengths above benchmark. So we could get a really solidly run race. I'm going to keep it short. Mar Jones is a great price here. It's a great each-way bet, especially if they go harder. Bet in play. If they're going really hard, just get on again in play. I'll quickly say Dylan Sutton's probably second pick. I think it's a really good chance. Heptagon, and our Peaky Blinders I have to respect, but I think both are under the odds. Sunday Prey was really well backed on Betfair late, so just a big watch from last start. And I think Tone Fang is huge odds at 80 to 1, and I think it's the blowout chance.
Yeah, I had to fill up on Dylan's son at Tao Wong. Maybe one of the only blokes that did fall for that meeting, but he was an absolute moron. Opened up $3. Thanks, Punters. But you got to learn when to, jump off, and this is just not its right setup. Couldn't have it here. Heptagon's probably the horse that interests me the most up to the mile. I don't know where he gets to from the map. I don't really like the engagement, but he's a horse on the up. Our Peaky Blinders is a nice horse. Again, he's probably short at the price. Mandalay Bay is probably the horse that interests me the most. Local horse. First time he's got up to a mile in a fair chunk of time. You sort of looked at his form as a 3-year-old early doors was quite good. He ran 6th in a start stakes behind Haydock, Land of Plenty.
And I think he went to Sydney then, just after that. And I think he was probably something beat when he went to Sydney. I reckon it was a bit of a pilot error. I think Luke Curry was on it.
Yeah, Luke Curry.
I had a big bet on it that day.
Yeah.
I was headless.
I remember that race actually. He's a horse that I've always had a bit of time for. Fred Kersley I like as an engagement. And I reckon he's got some chance. He comes out of a race that was actually rated quite well speed-wise at Ballarat. I know he's 2 1200s to 1600s, maybe not the ideal setup, but I reckon he would have been primed for this race because it's a big prize money race for this sort of grade, and it's Mornington home track, so he'll be there ready to win. I could entertain him at around $9.
Yeah, I think. I'm sort of with both of these guys. Actually, I'll probably just Dutch the race. I think Mar Jones needed the run last start. 3 weeks between runs now. Looks just perfectly set up here, third up, and obviously we's targeting the big prize money there. And Mandalay Bay was the other one that sort of interests me. I'm happy to take on Peaky Blinders and Heptagon. I guess Heptagon's starting to get deep in its prep. Looks pretty well found here. Peaky Blinders looks too short. So yeah, Dutching, Mar Jones and Mandalay Bay, I think you guys are nailed it.
Alright, sweet.
On to the Golden Slipper. So 1200 metres, Group 1 of course. Ridden by $5, Santos and Performer $10, Sandbar $13, Sunlight $4.40, Estajab $13, and Seabrook $9. This is probably one of the most wide open slippers for a while. You got a soft 7 at the moment, but it should be clearing up a bit. So you're not sure what it'll get to, because if this was Melbourne, it'd be a good 3.
Yeah, true.
But up there, maybe soft 5 if there's still showers to come.
Soft 5, 7. I don't think it's going to be bottomless.
Okay.
My mates up there reckon it's drying up by the second, and the forecast is nowhere near as treacherous as it was early in the week. So I think it'll be okay at this stage. But keep a look at it on bomb.gov.au. I think looking at Bomb, whether you're betting on a horse racing or AFL or NRL or anything outdoor, is probably the one that's the underutilised things. If you can understand weather patterns, it's a massive edge.
Yeah.
Massive edge.
100%.
Yeah.
So this will be our case bet cup for the week.
The slipper case.
Yeah. I'm just going to be really quick on this race and say it's wide open, ridden by, obviously I can see why they're backing it. I think the Ella Merton horse is a bit of overs. Performer's probably overs based on... I didn't exactly like how it finished off when Huey's fallen off last start, but its times and everything it's run previously, it has to be respected. I'd be taking on Sunlight. I'm a big Sunlight fan, but I don't think it's going well enough. The horse that I really like is Enbahar, who's come out of the Blue Diamond. It just wasn't suited where it sat there in the Blue Diamond in a race that was just controlled by the winner on speed. Now everything else on speed, went away from it, so it probably says more about the winner. But at $41, I'll probably get higher on the day. It won't be backed. Yeah, it maps awkwardly, but it'll get a 3-wide position and it'll be there or thereabouts. I just think if I was to take $41 that or $9 Seabrook, I'm going the $41.
Yeah, could see that point 100%. I thought Written Buys definitely deserves to be favourite. He was quicker than Sunlight last weekend. I think he handles a brutal speed very well. You can see that through the Blue Diamond.
Nice
He
draw.
came away from him in the Blue Diamond, had to do all the work from the wide gate. I thought he was incredibly hard to beat that day, and I really like this horse. Could be a little bit biased because he's given me some good fill-ups, but gee, I've struggled to knock him. Everything, even if the track does get wet or if it dries out, he handles both. So there's ticks for both of them. I'm surprised he's not the outright favourite, to be honest. Sunlight's an obvious danger, but I think she's unders at the price. And then outside of that, I'm not necessarily prescribing to the theory it's an open super. I think there's only a couple of chances, to be honest. Esther Jab, if she can get back to her win first up, which is a bit of a query because it was a while ago, but she'd be hard in the game. I thought she rated down last start massively in the Riesling. But you've seen horses the last couple of years in the Golden Super do that. She Will Reign, Capitalist, they just have that sort of flat run. Even Sepoy had that flat run going into a slipper, so I don't necessarily mind that. She can definitely bounce back, and she's probably the one. She's probably overs at the price. The horse that I thought was massive odds is Longleaf. This horse got knocked down in the Blue Diamond. That's a tough thing for a 2-year-old. Once they sort of cop that check, they usually spit the bit, and that's enough. He's a huge price. $81 about a horse that nearly SP'd favourite in the Blue Diamond.
Who was the jockey on board that day?
K-Mac.
I'm pretty sure he had a choice as well in that.
Yeah. So he had a choice to ride the Godolphin horses and chose to ride him. Yeah, I think he's a horse that's maybe potentially forgotten about.
Blinker's first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$81 just seems wrong.
That's very cool.
As a bookie, I'd love to get stuck into Sunlight at the 440 and probably written by. I think it's just so exposed what they've done. The two horses that really interest me and they're a real backable price. Obviously, Performer. You got to respect the SP price in the Todman.
Yeah.
To my eye, he looked like he's starting to really get through his gears. So I'm not really sure what he did to sidestep, and next thing you know, Hughes over the side of the handlebars and stuff like that.
I've got a bit of theory on that one. I reckon he kicked him in. I've heard a couple of different people as well.
Kicked him in the guts.
Kicked him in the flank.
Okay.
Where if you kick a horse there, their natural reaction, they just hate it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened.
Yeah, he
and he veered off.
The synthetic hoof fill is the only query I got on this horse. Looks a backable price at $10. When he's on, Hughes the best jockey, arguably in the world with Ryan Moore and those sort of guys.
What do you make of that though? Because he's had a fair bit of time off.
Yeah.
The boys in Sydney are saying he's got the Winx goggles on.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I'm not sold on Huey coming into Saturday. I don't know if it's
the positive.
He's out of trouble at 16. I think that's a positive for Hugh because if he was buried fence, you'd just pen this horse.
Okay. It's the races after Winx's run as well, which is most important for
Yeah. The other horse, Gay Waterhouse sort of knows what to do with the 2-year-old.
It does.
Santos. If you go back to the debut run, Santos was actually quite a good run behind Performer in the Breeders' Plate.
Yeah.
It's trialled up. It just looks absolutely tuned for this. Tim Clark's riding really, really well at the moment. It's drawn barrier 7. It can sort of sit in that sweet spot. There's going to be lots of speed. What do you win? I think we won the Skyline. It seems to just be the sort of the forgotten horse, or there's just not much hype around that horse at the moment.
Yeah.
And Spin sort of scooted up on the inside near it, but it did a really good job to hold it off still in that run. I thought it sort of dug in again. Obviously, barrier trial since, no dramas, and both Performer and Santos are the sort of horses that should just motor through the soft conditions. So he's probably had a couple of tricks that wasn't really the full package on his first prep, but since then he hasn't done much wrong, and I'm just really wary about Gay.
Yeah, no, it's a good slipper and a good race to bet into, that's for sure.
So Case Bet Cup, we get first pick. I'm going Mbahar at the big odds. I'm assuming we'll get you in at Longleaf.
Oh, I'd love to have written by if I could.
I'm gonna leave that one for a Twitter punter and not.
Jeez.
I'm going to make sure Dicko doesn't take it. He'll want it. It's his horse, but he's just going to... He'll probably veto me, won't he?
Yeah.
So what have you got? What have you got?
I went number 9, Amber.
Yep.
I'll go Estajar because she's around $11.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm sort of on the fence. Flip of a coin here, Santos or Performer. I'll leave Huey for someone else, and I'll have Santos. Just perfect draw and just a great setup. So Santos definitely for me for the case. And just a shout out to Drew. Daisy Doom was a massive get last week in the Coolmore case bet.
Yeah.
So you're back in form. You've found Harlem, and then you found that. So
it was nice to get it at $39.90 on Betfair.
Yeah, perfect.
Compared to the $23 tote.
There you go. Betfair SP is a pretty good product. So if you're shopping outside the market, you gotta get on Betfair. So.
Last thoughts, Winx race, because we can't let it go by. I'm just going to simply say I think Happy Clapper at $3. Winx out market is a very good bet.
Wow, it is too, yeah.
With taking on Kementari. Like, if you go look at the Longines figures, Happy Clapper has just run a top 10 Longines.
Yeah, it was a big race.
That's huge, wasn't it?
And the horse is flying, it's the right race for it. It's going to be there or thereabouts. And at $3 that or $1.50 Kementari, I'll take the $3, you know?
Yeah, that's a great way to attack the race. Yeah. That's probably it's a great bet, isn't it?
I think Kementari will beat home Happy Clapper just because of the race shape. I think the race shape they'll go. I can't see them going quick here at all. There's no leaders. Clearly Innocent, Crack Me Up, Happy Clapper, Winx all get back horses. Winx has probably got the option Huey to go a little bit closer. He rode a Super Arrogant in the Cox Plate, and I'll put my nuts on the line here, but I think Kementari at the price is takeable. I think it's $7.50. I think it's a takeable price against Winx because of the way the race shapes.
He's gonna make a name for himself.
I'm not, and I couldn't care less about the name or whatever. I just think this is potentially the best chance something's got of beating her if they can run along, slow it early and then take off. Huey's going to be in two minds whether to go with it.
Stop, start.
Yeah.
Almost like what they did to
Brenton's
Capitalist last year.
Brenton's riding in really good form. Kementari's a horse on the up. Yes, he's nowhere near the horse of Winx. The market's telling you that. You don't need me to tell you that. But he's a horse who's hugely on the up. Just keeps rating up. I think he's got more on the tank. Brenton on, positive for mine. And this horse, I just reckon this is maybe her toughest task she's had to date because the Cox Plate against Humidor, he's a probably better horse than Kementari. But she had the race, there was quick speed, that suits Winx down to the ground. Yeah. Her run's second up. I know you can make the case she's not second up because she had the barrier trial, which was practically a race. But if you go second up, she historically rates down below her best.
Yeah, Red Excitement, that one.
Yeah, Red Excitement, case in point. And if they go slow, Huey's having one of his first rides back.
Back in trip, yeah.
Don't know if he's riding great. I can't see her drifting, but if you were thinking you're going to ever have a crack at laying Winx, I reckon Saturday's the day.
$1.12's a bit stupid, but I think we can all agree on that. It's probably under the odds.
Yeah,
but
it's very
once
prohibitive.
again, it's Winx.
Yeah, Happy Clapper came back in enormous fashion. I backed it, and I was sort of kicking myself at how weak I was when I backed it. And I know what Travis is saying. Kementari is going to go forward, but this horse, when it ran in Newcastle, it mapped forward. In the Epsom, it maps forward. In the Optic White against Winx, when it got beat, it was sort of handy there. So,
well, does that even enforce the case that she's a chance of getting rolled? If he rolls forward,
he's going to go. I think she's going to go forward.
My main knock on Happy Clapper is that he's got against Winx. She's beating him up 5 times, whereas Kementari's never had a crack at her. So.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get Kementari beat here, and I think he's only he's had out of his second up runs. And I don't, these stats are sometimes misleading, but 7 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds. He goes like a bomb this whole second up. I'm happy to have a case bet against you with Happy Clapper, even though I'm taking worse odds. Happy Clapper will beat Kementari for sure. Yeah, and that's that. But in terms of I don't $1.12 you can't do much trouble there. So if you think I'd say I actually thought the day that it was bottomless Winks last time I think it was what was the run that I think it was the Rose Hill run when it was a heavy 10 over 1,500 metres. I thought that was the day that that she was going to get beaten, if any, in the George Ryder this time. What was it? This time last year?
Yeah.
And then she came out and win by 7.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I sort of agree. This is another 1,600 back to 1,500, and because it's not bottomless, maybe. And these are 2 other horses. If you're so bullish yours, and I'm saying Happy Clapper's nearly at the top of his game, you could not take $1.12 with confidence.
No, and that's the point. Yeah, like you run this race 100 times. There's no doubt she wins 9. But 90 or 9 was a bit. No, I was meant to say 90, but there's no doubt she wins 90. So you've got to have her in that $1.15, $1.20 range. But it's just maybe something. The race shape has got me really worried.
She's beaten home prized icon, Classic Uniform, and Libran.
Yeah, I'd back
there's nothing there
to towel them up.
Yeah, he probably win by 4 or 5.
Yeah,
so there's only 2 lengths there, and Bad Hugh we're hoping for.
Well, that's, jeez, I don't know. We could be a very interesting show. Could end our mailbag appearances, Nick and I here, if she
bolts in.
But each their own.
I backed against her twice last prep with Red Excitement, thought I was home, and Fox Play when she's missed the start by 5 lengths, thought I was home.
Yeah.
So you can't count her out in any situation.
No, she gets herself out of trouble most times or not. But I think that the biggest problem for mine's pilot error. That would be the big knock.
All right. So what is it? Best, worst, and
so best of the day. I'm saying my best is Petite's Reward, with my value being Ma Jones. And come back to me for my lay. I'll figure that out.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Bramos is my lay.
Jonathan Walsh just sent me an email. Sorry, just out wide. His lay of the day for Betfair is Ashley Marie. So
okay, yeah, could agree with that.
Yeah.
Best of the weekend for mine, I thought was in Sydney. I've done all the Group 1s, and I like Galachop's just a moral. Can't see him losing that race. I know he's pretty short at the price, but I imagine he could maybe drift out a little bit, and if you get even money, he's just going to be too good. You could have got $8 futures markets about 2 weeks ago. So if you look into those sort of lesser Group 1s, I reckon in the futures is where because a lot of horses just won't run in them. I thought he was probably the best of the day. Value runner, this is a little bit on spec. Horse in the Galaxy, who I thought was massive price, is a horse by the name of The Mission. Goes around at $126. Both his 2 big performances where he's rated like a proper Group 1 horse, even though he did win a Group 1 in one of those, was on heavy tracks. He hasn't seen a soft track since. I thought his run in the Challenge was not too bad. He got gassed early, and then he through the line. He's nearly as strong as Viridine. He got blocked for a run. Sort of, as you see, probably the last 50 after the line, he's getting blocked for runs, and he's finishing off stronger than Viridine. Pace on, no way. I just thought $126. This is a horse I could entertain at massive odds.
That's one of the horses that Dicko tried to buy one time. It's a sore subject for him, that one.
I'm going to play by the rules, and my best bet's going to come out of the races that we preview on air.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maddie, I think in the first will be very hard to beat down at Mornington. The best value bet, I think it's the Fighting Fury.
Could agree with that.
The Tigers probably beat the Blues tonight as well. That's something bold to say. I'll look bad if people watch the show and they've been beaten, though, that's for sure. And the best lay of the day, there's a lot of shorties and a lot of good lays throughout the cards everywhere. I'll say Sunlight and the Slipper and Written By. Let's just gap those 2, and you got the rest running for you, which is some really good options in the Slipper. So I'd put the 2 favourites in. Old school bookie theory.
I'd definitely put Sunlight in.
And Written By, bugger it.
For Melbourne, for anyway, I probably should recommend a best for Melbourne. Moonee Valley, bonds away. I just think it's
it's a great each way bet, isn't it?
Great each way bet, ridiculous price. And lay of the day for mine probably comes up in the Sunline. Spanish Reef. I think she's too short.
Makes
Good
sense.
lay.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for being
Thanks,
on.
guys.
We've gone. Dicko's going to scold me for going long, but
Covered a lot of meetings, though, Dicko. So
Yeah.
give us a little...
quality can't be rushed, you know? So
Exactly.
thanks again, and
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
see you for the review show.
Good luck, Hunters.